Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to Talk About It Tuesday. This is the July 7th, 2020 edition. Today, we're going to talk about using Evernote and Trello to get organized. And I have to tell you, the first time I looked at Trello, the person that was showing it to me, it seemed like her Trello board just never ended. Just looking at it really gave me a headache. And being visually impaired, meaning I am totally blind in my right eye, when something gives me a headache, I just stay away from it. So initially, Trello wasn't anything at all that I thought I'd ever be interested in. Now, Evernote, on the other hand, I have used it in the software business for, Lord, I don't know, 10 plus years. Yes, I've tried other note-taking apps, but I always came back to Evernote. So a few weeks ago, month ago, something like that, I happened to watch this YouTube video where this woman was demonstrating Trello. And her Trello board made sense because it wasn't one board that was everything. It was several very specific boards, which meant you weren't scrolling to the end of the earth in order to find something. So I spent the $27 on the course that she offered, and I can't tell you, I have been hooked ever since. So today, I'm going to show you how to use Trello and Evernote in conjunction with one another, and really how to get yourself organized. Now, please take into consideration, when it comes to Trello, I'm kind of a newbie. So no, I don't know all the ins and outs and tricks, but I can show you how to just create something simple and get yourself organized. So let me just make sure that the sound is off on the replays. And it seems that it is. So that's good, because the last thing we need is to hear me repeating the same thing twice. That would be a real pain in the butt. So first, let me just say that I'm demoing today using the free version of Trello and the free version of Evernote. So that's all you need to start with. And I am going to share my screen here, and I'm going to switch over to Evernote. And sorry, I have to remember to actually share my screen. And I think I just lost it. So hang on just a second. Okay, you're probably going to see this, and I'm going to swamp over to Evernote. And there is a slight delay, and I'm just kind of watching on YouTube to make sure that you're not seeing my StreamYard window, which it looks like we are. So I have to apologize for that. Hang on just a second. Always something, isn't it? Okay. Here we go. So first thing, here's Evernote. When you first log into your free Evernote account, it's a little scary because it's just empty. Okay. You have this lovely little menu down the left-hand side, and that's all you have. Now, Evernote is like this virtual notebook that never runs out of pages. Inside Evernote, you can have multiple notebooks for multiple things. So let's say you're a designer, because I know a lot of you folks are. So you probably want to have notebooks for finished designs. And I am going to rename this. And honestly, I'm much more used to using the desktop version of this. So I apologize if I get a little lost. So we'll create a notebook for published patterns. And under published patterns, let's just say, oh, you have different types of designs. And actually, I did this wrong. So skip renaming it. Click on New Notebook over here on the right. In the notebook name, you're going to call it Published Designs. Now, under Published Designs, you may want to have different notebooks for each type of item it is that you want to create or that you do create. So in that case, you can, excuse me, you can create another notebook and you can call this Published. Let's say you make hats. Okay, so now you can come over to More Actions and you can add it to a stack. And create a new stack. Okay. So now if you come down and look at published patterns, you can see here's published hats. If you want to add another notebook to that stack, This one you could call Published Shawls. And then you could, I believe, just drag that up here. Yep, there we go. So now you can get rid of these other notebooks. Sorry. Like I said, I'm much more used to using the desktop app than I am using the web-based version. And let's say we want to add one called Published shawls. Oops, nope, scarves. And then we can drag that up here under our published patterns. Now you can do the same thing with unpublished patterns. So look, how cool is that? So you can create a new notebook. And this one would be unpublished patterns. And then you could create notebooks within that main one. So you could do unpublished hats. And then you could drag that down here. No, you can, okay. So you could create a new stack. Sorry, this is going to be kind of a mess. So now we could rename this one. And sorry, I probably should have stuck to doing everything. So there's our unpublished patterns and our unpublished hats. We could also do a notebook for patterns in progress. So we'd call that PIP in short, for short. So PIP stands for Patterns in Progress, okay? And these are the ones that we're kind of just working on. So anytime you see this little arrow, it means here's a main notebook with a chapter in it. Now, the other thing that you really want to do, and I'm going to rename this one, is you want to have a notebook to hold templates. These are the things that you're going to be using over and over and over again. So in templates, you may want to create a pattern template so that when you're writing up your pattern, you don't forget anything. So what you do is you select your templates notebook, you hit new note, your title is going to be the title of the project. And then we're going to just start putting in those default pieces to what goes into your pattern template. And I'm just going to do a couple little things here. So let's do size. If you put these headers or titles into your note, when you're finished with the pattern and you've completed your draft, because that's what we're going to use Evernote for, is to write that draft of our pattern. You can then copy and paste the information from the note that is the draft into whatever you actually have for a real template. Okay. So here we go. So now we come back here to our notebooks. And let's say we're working on a hat. Okay. So we come down and we get our template. You should be able to make a copy. Okay, you can duplicate the note. Once it's duplicated, then you can move it into another notebook. Move it to, we can put it into our pattern in progress hat notebook. So now we come over here and we're in our patterns in progress hats notebook. And now you can at XYZ. Okay, so, and you can now put in those details. Okay, so this is just one way that you can use Evernote to get organized. Now, let's talk about taking this Evernote information and connecting it to a Trello board. So I'm going to stop sharing Evernote, and I'm going to come over and I'm going to share my screen, and I want to come to Trello. So here's Trello. The only thing that I have in here is a welcome board. Okay, and this is the standard one that comes with Trello. So what I want to do is I want to create a new board. And I want to call it My Designs. Okay. And then I'm going to create it. Looks a little blank, blah, doesn't it? So we can find a background. You can search photos. So if we look for a notebook, we can put whatever you want as a background. And yeah, I don't necessarily like this one. So I can come back and I can change the background. Let's just say I want a nice solid color. So Trello is made up of lists and cards that go under those lists. So let's say we wanted to create a list and call it Published Hats. Now under it, so under Published Hats, we're going to add a card and we're going to call it XYZ hat. And we're going to add that card. Now we can put in all kinds of things. Okay. You can, if you've been taking pictures of it, you can add them from your computer. And I'm just going to go find anything for a graphic. Okay, I don't have a hat, but I have a scarf. So there you have the picture. Now you can either leave it as the cover, and if you do, that card for XYZ hat is always going to have the picture. Now, in my opinion, having the picture there, it's going to be too cluttered. So I'm going to remove that cover. Now you can actually color code the card if you want to. You can have this nice little color code at the top, or you can just leave it blank. That choice is yours. So now let's connect Evernote. Now, Evernote is called a power up. So you want to go to show menu, and we want to choose power ups. Now, I will tell you, you can only have one power up. My suggestion, and I think it's for one power up for all of your Trello boards. And what you do is you search for Evernote, you add it, you come to your settings, you have to authorize your account. So you want to make sure that you have Evernote open in your browser. And you just authorize it, and it authorizes it for a year. Now, it does take a couple of seconds for this to all link. So here we are. So now I want to go and grab that pattern draft. So I click my Evernote power up. I tell it I want to attach the note, and I want to choose my hat XYZ. So now you've just linked that. If you have a PDF of the final design, you click attachment, you hit computer, and you go and you find that final PDF and you attach it. And it does take a couple of minutes, and I will tell you, I have got more windows open than I know what to do with. So while this is processing, I'm just going to hop over and see if there's any questions anywhere. And I don't see any, so that's good. So imagine you've got 5 or 6 different images. Instead of hunting all over your computer for them, they are all now all neatly attached to this card. Now you can add a description, okay, and you could put in published in Happily Hooked. Say it's the October 2020 edition. You can put in any kind of note that you want here. So this is just one way that Evernote actually helps you to get organized. So you could have another list for um, hats in progress. Your lists are going to be your categories. So I mean, in reality, instead of this just being um, just published hats, it could be published designs. You could add a card called publish hats. That one you could change the cover to give it a color. And then that would become your divider per se, so that you would know anything under this lime green card would be a hat. So you could add another card and you could call it published shawls. You could give that one a cover. Oh, that's yellow. Yeah, this is going to be really bright. And you could add another card there. Now, let's say we have a ready to publish list. So over here in hats in progress, we're going to create a new hat. So this is the, oh, I don't know, the summer hat. You've added all of your details. Pattern is ready to be published. You just drag it right over here. Okay, you don't have to create a new card. You don't have to retype anything. Everything follows right over and it just moves from one list to another. Now you can also make another list and you call this your important stuff. Okay, you can put that over here because that's always the first list you want to see. So let's say we always want to make sure we know where our pattern draft template is. So we come over and we grab that. There it is. It's in Evernote. If you have a if you have a Word document that you use to transfer the pattern draft into its final form, well, you can go to your computer, you can find that file and you can attach it. Oh, and it's uploading. Okay. So it's just a way, using Trello and Evernote, it's just a way to help you keep all of those little missing pieces, or all of those pieces that are so darn hard to find, um, together. So now let's say, you want to, I don't know, publicize this on social media. So you want to come and grab your best image. You open it. You can actually do a Control-C. You can copy that image, and you could paste it wherever the heck you wanted to. Like if you wanted to go to Facebook and paste it, you could do that. If you want to actually link the image to a Facebook post, then you use this URL that's up here, and it will come and it will grab that image. You can come see if anybody has anything like it on Pinterest, in case you need like some ideas for what to say about this lovely hat, or in this case, it's a shawl. Okay, so these are just some of the ways that you can use Trello and Evernote together. Now, I showed you last week in our Talk About It Tuesday how I actually created a board where I could, quote unquote, do a inventory, and I'm just going to stop sharing this, where I could do an inventory of all the blog posts that I have on Yarny Bookkeeper. Now, I started the Yarny Bookkeeper website in October of 2017. So I'm coming up on 3 years. So that's a lot of stuff. Okay, that's a lot of little small parts and pieces that are scattered all over my computer. Some of it's in Google Drive, some of it's on the hard drive of my computer. I mean, some of it's in Dropbox, some of it's in different folders on the hard drive in my computer. And every time that I can't immediately put my fingers on something, and I have to spend 15, 20, 25, 30 minutes digging around and looking for it, that's a waste of my time. Okay, that is just totally non-productive, frustrating time that just goes right down the drain. None of us have the luxury of being able to waste time. So I decided that I would take my trusty old standby and, oh, I'm sorry. I just realized I'm looking over at YouTube, and wow, the video quality is very grainy. I'm really surprised because it looks quite good on Facebook. It could simply be that I am taxing the ever-loving whatever out of my internet connection. I'm hooked up wirelessly, and I have 2 browsers, and I have YouTube open, I have Facebook open, and I have StreamYard open, and I have Evernote open and I have Trello open, and I'm doing stuff in all of this. And well, it may be more than the poor old internet can handle. So that's it for my little demonstration. I really would suggest, if you're going to use these apps, download them onto the hard drive of your computer, because Trello is going to take up a lot of space, and you're not going to have that real estate on your phones, maybe even your tablets too. So, not that you can't access them from your phone or your tablet, because you can, and they will sync. You'll be able to sync two devices in the free version of Evernote. So you could have it on your phone or your tablet as well as your computer. And it will just, if you create something on your computer, you can find it in your phone. If you create something in your phone, you can find it on your computer. It's super nice. Um, it's a wonderful thing. So that's it for this week. If you have questions, feel free to hit me up. And, next week we'll see if we can come up with something lovely to talk about too on the Talk About Tuesday live chat. And just so you guys know, especially you folks in my Facebook group, I am broadcasting this live to YouTube as well. I've decided that Yearny Bookkeeper needs to grow a little bit, and one of the ways that it can grow is through YouTube. So, unfortunately, we're not going. The videos that I do aren't going to be group member only bonuses. I'm going to try and put together a schedule, and I will do something maybe once a month, just for the group. But I think a lot of these Talk About It Tuesdays are going to go up on YouTube as well. So until next week, I hope you all have a lovely, productive week, and I'll see you then. Bye.